Hello friends, Harshal here and welcome to my YouTube channel. And in this video, I'll be discussing on the theory part of AWS CloudFormation. But before we are proceeding in this video, I would like to recommend you and suggest you to please go and check it out my previous videos on AWS CloudFormation, because I have done demonstration in those videos and it would be helpful for you to understand this video and these topics of AWS CloudFormation. So if you have not watched those videos, so what I do, I simply put the link of those videos in the description box, so kindly go through those videos and start learning. So let's get started for this video. So so what is CloudFormation? So here is the definition as per the AWS CloudFormation documentation. So AWS CloudFormation is a service that helps you model and set up your AWS resources so that you can spend less time managing those resources and more focusing on your application that runs in AWS. So it simply says that this is a model to set up AWS resources, right? It is a model, it is a service that helps you to model and set up AWS resources, right? We can set up the resources easily so that we can spend less time managing those resources, right? So if you want to configure the resources, or you want to create the resources, it will take a lot of time because you have to click here, there, and so many steps you need to do on the console. But here, if you have created the template and you simply change your template according to the requirement, so it is very convenient, and it is very convenient and less time consuming. So that is why it is important. CloudFormation, it is very useful since it is very efficient and less time consuming. We can simply focus on application that runs in AWS, right? Then you create a template that describes all the AWS services that you want, like Amazon EC2 instances or Amazon RDS DB instances, okay, and a lot more, okay. And CloudFormation takes care of provisioning and configuring those resources for you. So whatever you mention in the template, everything will be go accordingly and will create the complete infrastructure. Then how does CloudFormation work? So here you can see, first of all, we need to create the template. Okay, we need to write the template. We can write template in two languages. We can go with the YAML, or we can go with the JSON, right? Then we can save locally or in S3 bucket. We can save the template locally or S3. And then there is a third step, that use CloudFormation to create stack based on your template. It construct or configure your stack resources. So simply what you have to do here, you need to create stack on the AWS console. But for creating the stack, you need to have a template in your S3 bucket or wherever in your local computer, right? So simply you need to fetch this template and everything will be created. Now next, templates. Okay, so how can we create the template, and what are the syntax of the template? So everything you will come to know here. A CloudFormation template is a JSON or YAML formatted text file. You can save these files with any extension such as JSON, YAML, template, or TXT. Then CloudFormation uses these templates as blueprints for building your AWS resources. For building AWS resources, you need to create the template, right? Then there is a link. So okay, so let's check this link. Okay, So here you can see the format, right? So here is the JSON format. So if you write the template in JSON language, so here you can see, right? And there is another language, that is YAML. Okay, now we have here, it has written the template in YAML format. So here you can see the key value pair, and to be honest, I'm very comfortable with the YAML rather than JSON. Okay, if you are comfortable with the JSON, you can go with the JSON. You can write the template in JSON language, or you can write template in YAML language, whatever suitable for you. So here is the complete example that how can we write the template. So here you can see the version of the template, AWS template format version, then the description and resource. Okay, so here is the resource, what resource we are creating, that is my EC2 instance, and the type of the instance, right? So this is the type of instance, and the properties of the instance. So what are the properties of the instance? So image ID, then instance type, then key name, right? Then there are some block device mapping. So what you want to map, so here they want to map that SDM, EBS, right? So everything we have to mention in the template, so that it will create a complete infrastructure as per the instruction you provided in the template. Okay, now here is the JSON format. The same happen with the JSON, but there is a different syntax. So here is the description, resource, and again, okay, so everything the same. Okay, so these are the examples. Now go back here. Okay, so AWS SDKs. So AWS software development kits, that is SDKs, are available for many popular programming languages. So SDKs means it is a development kit. So let us say if somebody is developing the app, right, in a particular language. So for developing any app, it needs some SDKs, like it needs some software development kits, or some software or some tools that is requirement for developing any application, or something like related to language, right? Some programming language, let us say CPP, let us say Python or Ruby, right? So if you want to develop any application, then simply you can go here in the user guide welcome, and you will get SDK here. Right here I show you that where is the SDKs. Okay, not here. So let me check where is SDKs. This is quotas, endpoints. Okay, here is working with AWS SDKs. Okay, so here you can see that SDK documentation you can get here, that how can we use the SDKs, and here is some code examples, right? So you can simply go from here, and you can develop your own application with the language. Okay, let us say you are creating Java application, then go with this .NET, PHP, Python, Ruby, CPP, Go code. Okay, so everything you will get here, and if you don't know about that SDK sense, then simply go through those documentation so that you can refer, and you will be able to develop the code or the application. Okay, so now next one is AWS CloudFormation template. So how can we create the AWS CloudFormation template? So we will learn in this tab or in this topic. Now the template is stored as text file whose format complies with the JavaScript object notation or YAML standard, right? So JSON here is the long form of JSON, that is JavaScript object notation, and or YAML file. So resource declaration, so simply you can create template by using two programming languages, JSON or YAML standard. Now resource declaration use a properties attribute to specify the information used to create a resource. Okay, now resource declaration use properties to attribute to specify information used to create. Okay, right. So here you can see the JSON, right? So you need to specify the resources. Let us say here is the resource, right? Resources, then the name of the resources will be hello bucket. Okay, and the type will be AWS S3 and bucket, right? So the bucket name will be hello bucket, so that will be the name of the bucket, and the bucket will be created if you go with the JSON. The same if you want here, here there is no parenthesis. Okay, simply you can write key value pair. So resources and hello bucket, the hello bucket will be the name of S3 bucket. The type, because we have mentioned type, that is AWS S3 and bucket. Let us say you want to create EC2 instance, then it you simply go with AWS EC2 and instance, right? Then the instance name will be hello bucket, so whatever, right? So according to the type you define here, everything will be created as per we define here in the template. Now the following template specifies a canned ACL for the access control properties of the bucket. So wherever you want to create access control list, okay, so here public read for the access control property of the bucket. So here we have specified public read. Then some resources can have multiple properties, and some properties can have one or more sub properties. For example, AWS S3 bucket resources has two properties, access control and website configuration. So there is a property and sub property. Let us say here you can see there is a resource, okay, and we have created the resource, that is S3 bucket, okay, and the S3 bucket with the name of hello bucket, and in the bucket whatever the properties we want to apply, whatever the configuration we want to apply on S3 bucket, then simply you can write properties, and you can simply let us say I want to give access control to public read only. Okay, so the bucket will be configured with the public read. It will have the access control list, that is public read. Only public can read the bucket of S3. Then here you will see here the same. Okay, so bucket name is hello bucket, and the properties is access control, that is public read, and there is some other properties, right? So website configuration, index configuration, okay, and error configuration. So these are sub properties, right? Properties and sub properties. Okay, now the next one is CloudFormation has a number of intrinsic functions that you can use to refer to other resources and their properties. So there are some intrinsic functions we will be talk in this video. Okay, as per the video will goes okay, so there is some number of intrinsic functions we will see in this video. The ref function to refer to and identifying properties of the of a resource. So ref function is one of the intrinsic function. Okay, also there is join function and some get attribute function. So a lot of function which is termed as intrinsic function. So we will see in this video. So the first of all, ref function. So what is ref function? Ref function means it is the reference. It will refer to the resource, right? It will refer to and identify the property of a resource. So we will see the example. The resources security group property calls the ref function to refer to the AWS EC2 security group resource instance security group. Okay, so here what happened, let us say we do have a security group property calls the ref function to refer to the, here is the security group. Let us say that it is the security group which is the resource, right? And if we are using ref function with the security group, it means that it will call that this resource, right? That security group resource, then instance security group. The security group property is a list of security groups. So here you can see here there is a resource, right? Then EC2 instance, okay, and that instance name will be EC2 instance. Then the properties, there is a property security groups, and here you can see ref function. Okay, so exclamatory sign and ref, it means that this is the short form of the ref function, intrinsic ref function, and it is referring to instance security group. So where is the instance security group? Here, this is the instance security group. So it will refer to instance security group, and whatever the properties and the values is applied to that security group, so it will refer here. Okay, it is the list of the security group. Okay, then the key name is my key, image ID is nothing. So okay, so I hope that you understand it. This ref function, it simply refer from here. Okay, next one is here the type is AWS EC2 and instance name will be EC2 instance, and the properties will be security groups. And here you can see the list of security groups. Because of that hyphen sign, it means that it is the list of security groups. So the first one is, it will refer to the security group. Okay, so this security group, it will refer. Okay, the properties, everything will be refer. It will refer and create in the stack. Then the second one is my existing security group, so it will be the list. Okay, now here you can see my existing security group is a string that refers to an existing EC2 security group instead of security group declared in the template. So it is a string, right? That my existing security group is a string that refers to an existing EC2 security group, right? So here in the security group, you can see this is the reference. It will take the reference, right? And it is this string. It is simply a string. It is not referring to anything, right? So whatever the security group we are creating, it is actually the security group. Okay, it will be created. So by default, in which region we are working on, so it will apply to that security group. It will be created by default. Okay, now key name property of the AWS EC2 instance is the literal string my key. Okay, now here you can see key name, that is my key. Okay, it means that whenever we launch the instances, so that time we need to create the key, right? So if you have any key created by yourself, then you have to mention that key name here, otherwise the instance will not be launched. Okay, and the image ID and everything we can mention here, define here. So according to that, it will create the instance. Okay, so we are actually creating an EC2 instance, launching an EC2 instance according to these properties. Now the ref function can refer to input parameters that are specified at stack creation time. The following template adds the parameter object containing the key name parameter, right? So that key name parameter, which is used to specify the key name property for the AWS EC2 instance resource. Okay, so this is the key name property for EC2 instance. The parameter type EC2 key pair key name. Here look, the parameter type is this. Okay, So let me show you. Where is the parameter properties? Here is the properties. Okay, they have not mentioned any parameter for here for now here. Okay, so if we mention any parameter here, okay, if we mention any parameter type, then what happen, we can select the key which ensures a user specified a valid key pair name in his or her account and in the region where the stack is being created. Okay, so here resources is now this is my bucket. Okay, the bucket name, the resource is S3 bucket, and that S3 bucket will be created with the name of my bucket, and my distribution, it will be AWS CloudFormation and distribution, and the properties of that that CloudFront will be this. Okay, properties means the configuration, a kind of configuration. Okay, and here is the domain name, and here you can see the get attribute. This is also first of all we'll learn about ref function. Okay, and now this is get attributes, both are the intrinsic function. Okay, then we will get attributes and get properties from this, for this my bucket, my domain, and here is this. Okay, then enable ID and S3 origin configuration enabled is true. So everything we will come to know by reading the next documentation. Okay, next slide. So a number of resources have additional attributes whose values you can use in your template. To get these attributes, you use the get attribute function. So this is the full form of the get attribute function, and here you can see this is the short form of get attribute function. So both if you use both are correct. Then get attribute function lists its two parameter in an array. So there are two parameters, my bucket and domain name. So it will get attribute from my bucket. Okay, so this is my bucket and the domain name. Okay, so this is the domain name. Now parameter declaration. Okay, so let's learn for parameter. Now parameter declaration helps how you can restrict and validate your input. So whatever we define parameter, when we define parameter, then we able to choose, we can simply write something. Okay, so that is the parameter. So okay, a parameter contains a list of attributes that define its value and constraint against its value. Okay, so we can choose the value and constraint against the value. So that is the parameter. Okay, now required attribute is type, which can be string, number, or an AWS specific type. You can also add a description attribute that tells a user more about what kind of value they should specify. We can also specify the values, right? So if you watch my videos and on CloudFormation, I have demonstrated about parameters as well. So you will clearly come to know that when we specify anything in the parameter tab, in the parameter hook, then what actually we will get and how can we put the value there to authentication. Okay, now to validate the value of parameter, you can declare constraint or specify an AWS specific parameter type. So that is also important. Now for AWS specific parameter types, the AWS console shows a drop down list here. Okay, so you can also drop down list of valid values. You can put the values. Okay, you can write the values, you can drop down the list of valid values for AWS specific parameter types. Now such as valid EC2 key pair names or VPC IDs. Okay, so here you can also do that with the EC2 key pair names or even VPC IDs. Okay, there are so many virtual private clouds, so you can simply drop down and select VPC IDs. Okay, then when users use the create stack wizard. Okay, so next, okay, here you can see the parameter. Okay, let us say we have created the we have defined the key name, right? So this is the key name, right? So AWS EC2 and key pair, and the name of the key pair is key name, that is the value. Then WordPress user, default admin, and no echo. It means that it will no echo true. It means that it will not return any value. You unable to see the value. That's why it is showing a no echo, that is true. Then the type is string, right? String means that is the string, right? A to Z or 0 to 1, whatever the name or number you want to give. Then the minimum length is 1 and the maximum length is 16. Okay, and this is the web server, and okay, that is the different thing. So let's see here. For the string type, declare constants, minimum length, maximum length, default, allow values, and allow pattern. Okay, so here is the allow values and allow pattern. So that is the allow pattern. So this kind of pattern we can use here. So here also the maximum value, that is 1, and maximum value, that is this. Okay, and type is number, only number we can put here, right? So for the maximum number type constraint, minimum value, maximum value, default, and allow values, a number can be an integer or a float value. It can be anything. Okay, then if you set the no echo attribute to true, CloudFormation returns the parameter value mask as asterisk. Okay, it will not show the value, it will simply give you return, that is asterisk. Then here you can see the key name. Okay, the key name is string. The key name is string. Okay, you can write the key name. Then the mapping, here you can see the mapping, that is reason map. For this reason you can map this. For this reason there is a different AMI ID. Okay, so for different reason, that is for east 1, west 1, west 1, okay, southeast 1. So here what we can do, we can simply drop down and we can select any of the AMI ID. Okay, for east 1, okay, let us say west 1 and west 1. Okay, and you are actually creating EC2 or something resources in west 1 region, then if you go and drop down, then you can simply select both, any one of them. Then here resources EC2 instance, that is type AWS EC2 instance, you are actually creating a resource. Then there is a properties key name, it will refer to the key name. Here is the key name, that is string. Okay, and then image ID, it will find in map. Okay, here is FindInMap, so it will find in map. Then region map, and it will refer to AWS region. And user data, that is base 64. It means that it is the base 64 is the encryption type. Okay, then each region is mapped to a name value pair. AMI is the label and the AMI ID is the value. In the example, here is the this is the example. The image ID property of the resource EC2 instance uses the function, that is FindInMap. So this is also the intrinsic function. So there are till now we have understood 3 intrinsic function. The first one is ref, second one is get attribute, third one is FindInMap. Okay, so FindInMap function to determine its value by specifying region map as the map to use, AWS region as the input value to map from, and AMI as the label to identify the value to map. For example, if this template were used to create a stack in the US West region, image ID would be set to this. Okay, so according to the region, in which region you are actually creating the resource, so according to that region it will automatically map. And if there are multiple AMI ID defined in that specific region, then we have to simply we can simply drop down and select one of the AMI ID that we want to create. Okay, now here you can see the resources. So there is a type elastic load balance. Now we are actually creating elastic load balance, then the type of the elastic load balance. Okay, then there is a properties, it means that the configuration part. Okay, so resource is we are actually creating load balancer, then here is the properties, it means that the configuration part. Okay, so availability zone, so it will get the availability zones. Then instances, okay, it will refer to instance 1 and instance 2. So the listeners, that is port 80 will be listened, then instance port will be web server port. Okay, it will refer to web server port. So then there is a protocol HTTP, health check. Okay, so everything you will come to know here. Okay, so here you can see shorthand join. Okay, this is the join function, this is the fourth intrinsic function. So we will check about this join function in the next slide. Okay, so here you can simply, it is used as a it is used to join the sentences, right? So join some part, so that's why we can use here join. So unhealthy, healthy threshold, that is 3, unhealthy threshold 5, interval and outlook. Okay, so the important thing is we want to know about that join function. It is a delimiter, right? It will join the statements, so that is delimiter. Okay, so it can join via comma, slash, we can use anything that separates the values you want to concatenate. Okay, it will use to concatenate, and an array of values in the order that you want them to appear. In the example above, function join specifies the empty string as the delimiter and HTTP, the value of the web server port parameter, and a slash character as the value to concatenate. If web server port had a value 8888, the target property would be set to the following value, so that will be the value. Okay, so whatever written here I'll tell you, okay, by showing this this example. So here you can see the join function, right? So target will be the join. Here you can see there is a blank double quote. It means that it will start the join function. It is a delimiter, right? So it means that it is delimiter, it is used as a delimiter. So here is the double hyphen and HTTP. Okay, so HTTP, then double dot. Okay, and the next one is reference. That is, what is the reference? The web server port. Let us say the web server port is 8888, then what happened? HTTP double dot, then 8888. Okay, and after that the next one is hyphen, slash. Okay, so the exact result you will get like this. Okay, let us say I have, okay, so let us say we define web server port is 8080 or 5127, let us say any port. Okay, then what happened? So automatically the result we will get, that is HTTP and 8080 or whatever the port we define for web server port, right? Okay, now there is another example for join. Okay, here you can see it is used as a delimiter. Okay, so here it is used as a delimiter because there is one there is a empty space. Okay, and one hyphen. So here is double hyphen, and again you will get the same result. Okay, HTTP, and then the get attribute, it will get attribute of elastic load balancer. It will get the properties of elastic load balancer, right, and the DNS name. Okay, and the last one is this. Okay, so this everything will be added. So if you want to see the result, so this will be the result. Okay, HTTP, then the elastic load balancer, and then WP admin install PHP. So this is WP admin install PHP. So the same happen with the here by using the joint delimiter, right? So okay, let's read this. The function join function is also useful for declaring output values for the stack. So here you can see the output. Okay, so in the output, whatever you want in the output, if you want to if you want to show the URL, then you can use that join function, the delimiter. Okay, so here function join function is also useful for declaring output values for the stack. And output is convenient way to capture important information about your resources or input parameters. Install URL is the string written by the join function, call that concatenates. Okay, HTTP, then the DNS name of the resource, that is elastic load resource elastic load balancer, and this one. So the complete output you will get like this, right? Now updating the stack. Okay, so I had already created a video that how can we update the stack. Okay, so wherever we create any stack, we can easily update any stack. Okay, simply just go through the template and you can do some changes in the template, and again you fetch those template and update the stack. So it's very easy process. But here you can, what you can do, so you can initially you have to create the stack, then you can update the application. Updating the application, it means that you change in the application, change in the code of the application, right, in the template. Okay, then update the instance type. We can also update the instance type. The old instance will get deleted and a new instance will be created. And then the update the AMI or the Amazon EC2 instance, that is also possible. Then we can also add key pair value to the instance, then change the stack's resources as well. So there are a lot of steps we can do by updating the stack. So here are some points that we have to understand. So in the properties section of the Amazon EC2 instance definition, the user data property contains the cloud init script that calls cfn init to install the packages and files. Okay, so here what happened, the cloud init script this will run and it will call cfn init to install packages and files. So what happened, the CloudFormation service and the cloud cfn init. Okay, so there is a complete complete relationship between these two. And what happened, the whatever we written in the user data, so whatever we written in the user data with the base 64 encryption value, base 64 encryption, so the whole string, the whole array will be executed, the command will be executed, and this will install the packages and files. Then here the template enables the configuration, the cfn hup daemon to listen to changes to the configuration defined in the metadata for the Amazon EC2 instance. So here we can also need to install cfn-hup daemon to listen for changes for the configuration defined in the metadata. Let us say we have done some changes in the template. Then what happen? Those changes, only those changes will be updated, and that changes will be listened by cfn-hup daemon. Okay. Now the template enables and configures the cfn-hup daemon to listen for changes in the configuration defined in the metadata for the Amazon EC2 instance. So cfn-hup daemon is basically used to listen the changes of the configuration defined in the EC2 instance. Okay, so that line is important, and just because of this line you will get a complete understanding. Now snippet from the same Amazon EC2 resource in the template shows the pieces necessary to configure cfn-hup to call cfn-init to update the software if any changes to the metadata are detected. Snippet. So what is the snippet? Snippet means the predefined code. Okay, that we call it as snippet, or the predefined structure. So that is called a snippet. Snippet from the same Amazon EC2 resource in the template. Okay, so the snippet template, it shows the pieces necessary to configure cfn-hup. It will configure the cfn-hup to call this cfn-init script. Okay, so here you can see cfn-hup, this is the hook, and this hook to call cfn-init script to update the software if any change to metadata are detected. Yes. Okay, so it this cfn-hup and cfn-init, so both that hook and that script both work each other. Okay guys, so now we have come to the end of this video. So thank you so much guys for watching my video. Bye.